Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Lorelei and Space Deviant.
What if Stranger Things was all an extremely complicated, layered analogy for international human trafficking?
A sigh, Jeff Silent.
Wall paintings of kids being by, demons.
In this crazy fan theory, the real-life horrors have been whitewashed in 80s nostalgia and science fiction to disguise the true story within.
And her parties are incredible at her house, too.
Yeah, she does have good parties, and she makes good pizza as well.
She makes great pizza,
Wonderful pizza.
The Mind Flayer, a psychic predator in the human image of Dr. Brenner.
I understand how upsetting this is.
The boots on the ground of a Cthulhu, interdimensional being.
Or he's one of multiple factions doing the same wood chipper-worthy offenses. If that creepy teacher, Mr. Scott Clark, is running his own evil ring, and the Russians in Season 3 have their own underground tunnels.
You can just go to Romania and buy a human being.
But Dr. Brenner has children born without birth certificates, being bred like little Dolly the sheep.
She may not be the monster imagined in a science fiction fantasy. Scientists say a clone was created from a single cell taken from the udder of a sheep.
Lab grown for nefarious purposes.
Demogorgons that eat people?
Now, if you think of the military and Stranger Things as cartels and not actual armies, it makes more sense.
Which is why they are sometimes headed by a woman, even in the 80s. In this dark Stranger Things fan theory,
there are no happy endings, Jane. Not for us.
Still no happy endings.
No way that dude was sending those text messages and being that weird with that amount of money and that amount of privilege that he didn't have some weird meat in a freezer somewhere, for sure.
All right, I've been waiting for this one for a while. Especially once it hit Season 5 and they went there with those kids.
Oh, I said it got real messed up.
I never liked Mr. Clark, the teacher. I had never liked Murray. So back painting them in to some kind of child trafficking scheme, super easy in my mind. They both give me the jeebie-weebies.
Oh, the thing that killed me was all the tentacle down and smoke down kids' throats. And it's what was up with you guys and stuff down kids' throats?
You and I, we are going to do such beautiful things together, William.
It's jacked up.
Yeah. The mouth stuff. The having them wrapped up, the encased in flesh, keeping them in the house where they're all being groomed and lied to. Callie coming back, Callie running her own crew of kids in the city, Elle going off to the city to work, I mean, the whole thing. If you, even like I said, back Season 1, Season 2, I love Hopper, and we're just doing crazy fan theories here.
Are the Russian spies in cahoots with the aliens?
But I've bitched before about the fact that he turned over 11 to the government in Season 1, never being morally addressed. Well, if you take it under the guise that the town sheriff decided to quietly work with the child traffickers in order to get a child back.
Nobody's ever going to find out about this. And those other 3 kids, those boys, you're going to leave them alone.
But now he manages 11, or he thinks he can be nicer to her. The whole thing, him keeping 11 in a cabin in the woods by himself.
Let's bring in a guy who's not really a father figure. He's not even educated himself necessarily.
He was, again, a divorced.
Or some kind of esoteric teacher.
He was on his own redemption arc. Because at one point, the other deputies had said something to the effect of I wonder if he's off his pills.
Is he off his meds again?
He's been spending too much time with Joyce Byers. That's what I think.
They all knew that he was competent because he had been a cop in the city. But when he had the breakdown after his daughter dying, he was on that kind of...
Even after everything that happened, I don't regret any of it.
Reparation thing. So I would have wanted him to be basically, in my ideal story, where 11 gets a moral guardian that can teach her to control her powers for good. Then Hopper can be the guard dog. He does not have to be responsible for her moral, emotional growth. Because he's not capable of it as a character. And you can tell 11 never progressed, never grew.
Only went in reverse, actually, I'd say.
Yeah. Especially for her age, she's bashing people in the head with skates. Ugh. I hate thinking about that. Joyce is willing to work with everything as long as she gets her son back. But then when Will comes back, he's already been poisoned. He's a sleeper agent. So he ends up recruiting his friends into it. This is a situation where they're getting Max into it in season 2. So Billy's actually the hero by trying to stop him. Ends up getting killed, trying to prevent his sister from getting trafficked. Does not prevent it. She gets depressed season 4. Starts writing letters saying goodbye to everyone. But she ends up getting recruited into, working with the new generation of recruits. From what I've read, slippery slope is everywhere. That's how the grooming works.
Slippery slope.
Because they're real nice to you a little bit, and then they make you do something you're uncomfortable with, but not too uncomfortable. And they keep moving the Overton window of stuff you're uncomfortable with until you've done something horrible. And then at that point...
just classic psychological manipulation and abuse.
Soiled, there's no coming back from it. So you'll just continue to do worse and worse and more horrible things. So under that framing, that 11 is some kid, some surrogate who's been specifically bred by a Dr. Brenner type who's making his replicant.
Chosen to survive, carry on our new beginning. You're special. You have a very special purpose.
You're clones. You're copies of people out here in the world.
Because it seems like that's what he wanted. That's what old Jeffy wanted, was to make his own little replicant farm. For whatever purposes. Even the wig's similar. You look at Brenner's hair, and you look at Jeff's hair. I mean, you throw him in a quarter zip.
Just the fact that they make him call him Papa. It's like, come on now. It's not Dr. Brenner. No, it's just Papa.
Papa. But they never really confirm that these are actually his children.
Oh, yeah. Of course, they might be.
But I don't believe they ever brought up 11's father.
She could have been the 11th. They never really went into it, but...
No. I would have liked it if they would have just really made it sorted.
Did they ever talk about her dad?
Nope.
Not that I can remember.
Nope.
11's dad? Could have been Brenner. Brenner could have been her dad.
Could have been Brenner. I feel like that was implied.
It kind of seemed like it. So it was a clone of, but they never really dug into it.
Yeah, they wouldn't just be like, oh yeah, they totally knocked her mom out and inseminated her.
And then just after they were done with her, they just shot her up with some make you crazy sauce and sent her on her way.
Yeah, gave her the zap brain and...
The brain zap.
I mean, we know that goes on. We know that exact thing. Children being bred.
The whole reason you exist is because everyone wants to live forever. It's the new American dream. And there's people out there that are rich enough to pay anything for it.
By surrogates to have no birth certificates. There's no happy endings for us, 11. Outside of that framing, that nasty weekend at Jeff's Island framing, and there was some sort of island in Michigan that was the same sort of thing in the 70s. Everything else about this show, if you replace the supernatural with predatory, it all hits. And if you want to go real crazy and you call the modern day predators Baal or Moloch worshippers, then you can just call Vecna Moloch, can't you? A little hands-on for how his people usually work, but...
Tulu, one of those.
I don't like it. It's... I know we just talked about it a little bit in a War Machine, but getting people used to imagery. I don't like people getting used to that imagery around children. I don't like the idea of children watching this. This show isn't for children. The mouth stuff on the kids?
That stuff bothered me. I was like, no. You know what I look at it like? I look at it a little bit like, go back to the titty twister. Hey, everybody! And you got Salma Hayek with her foot pouring liquor off into his mouth.
We know why that scene
happened. I mean, Salma Hayek. So we know he's got a foot thing. But it's like these people, whenever you do a film a lot of times, you'll put the things you like into those films.
Yes.
So we have a lot of kids being tied up. It kind of just, I don't know, man. It's pretty weird. Not saying, but I'm saying. It's just kind of weird.
Or they're working out stuff that happened to them when they were a kid.
It could also be.
No one grew. No one learned lessons. No one became a better person. No one developed courage. The power was always inside you. No, it wasn't. When I was rewatching that Duffer footage, because I didn't really catch that, but the Duffers basically pitched trying to convince people to be okay with 11 yeeting herself.
It has to be building towards 11 is going to kill herself.
They had about 3 different power theories. I think they swung between the Duffer brothers. They would be like, oh, okay, so they're breeding up. Okay, she's 11th. She's the last model. Okay. So she was basically the peak of what he was trying to achieve, which was telepathic, the whole ESP power.
Yeah, because she was technically more powerful than number 1.
Yes.
Technically, right? She banished him to Cthulhu world.
And she was the one who did it. She was the one who changed him into this thing.
Okay.
But then you got Will, out of nowhere, as far as we know, has nothing to do with this program, is suddenly multiple times the power of her and can just...
Well, they say in those circles that boys are way more valuable than girls. Cheese, pizza, and hot dogs.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, as far as the power theory, though, it was just stupid. It's like, okay, wait, so this kid got superpowers out of nowhere? He wasn't part of the program, as far as has ever been told. So what are we telling here? What's our story now?
But if they're recruiting for child traffickers, totally makes sense that he could be more powerful than 11. She's going to age out. She's starting to look like a woman. She's losing her true power. Her true power was when she was 12.
Then they had it where Kali chick, they made it where everybody had their own special thing they were trying to aim it towards.
And that was one of their cockamamie plans that they slid into. And they did that in the first episode of season 2. They brought in Kali. Ugh, I hated her so much. But I hated what it represented because it was that power without responsibility. Power without morality. Power without learning. And I'm supposed to not hate her. That's the thing. You wrote Callie to where I hated her.
I'll take you to her.
If he's alive, Jane will find him, just as she found you. Do it, Jane. Do it.
Judge, jury, and executioner. But they tried. The Duffers tried to write her like she was an admirable figure.
They had her sacrifice herself at the end. They kind of like shoehorned in even like 3 stories into one and then went back and was like, yeah, she was laying there sacrificing herself to hold up this false image.
Will's going to the gay bars in Chicago to do some recruiting.
I mean, the kid having superpowers coming out of a clinic, it's not a bad base premise. You know what I mean?
No.
There was a lot they could have done with it.
And not sexualized it.
Exactly. There was a lot they could have done story-wise because it's like, okay, on a character power, you've had to suffer for where you've gotten to. Basically grew up in a lab. At first they kind of played it the right way and then it just gradually changed. Like over time it changed.
Well, the entirety of the season 1 ending, where Will has spent the whole of season 1 ducking and diving and dodging the Demogorgon. Again, I'm fine with that and being a wormy kid that can get away with it. And as long as he's not cut and he's gotten cold and it can't really smell in its own layer, it really smells. Cool. I'm okay with cool. Whatever. Maybe it's the in-between world. This isn't its world. That's the in-between between it wandered through the jungle and it's dipping into our world to eat. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you could explain Will being able to slip the Demogorgon a little bit. But when he's hooked up to a tree with that thing in his mouth, and then he's spitting up slugs, so he's been impregnated, he's been seeded You've put the evil inside of him that can't be gotten out. If they had just found him in a pile, starved, cold, exposure, and you could have had the same thing, Hopper restart on his heart, giving him CPR. You could have had the whole thing exactly the same way and not had to have that thing in his mouth. You didn't have to sexualize it. And it would have made more sense. Again, they didn't do that to Barb. Unless you wanted to bring up the fact that I'd have been fine with the idea of the reason they take small kids is because someone like Barb's type would be hard to convince. You couldn't get into Barb's mind and fake her parents. She would immediately know that this was a fake Truman world.
Why don't you let me fix you some of this new Mococo drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mountain Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
What the hell are you talking about?
Who are you talking to? We're trying to trap her in, and she'd call you on it. So you couldn't subdue her. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe he tried to put the Tubi face into Barb, and she fought it, and then he was just like, oh, she could be, and it's not gonna take with her. They got to be below a certain age. You could have played it if that's how you wanted to play it.
To me, it almost seems like Vecna wasn't a developed character in any regard. And if anything, probably the actor
approaching the character, I was like, no, I really, really want to work on this. This is something that I really want to bring to the table here. Because it just felt, I don't know, I felt like I had a duty of care, I suppose.
Oh, totally. I'm sure that they cast you for you, and then the voice was like a bonus, just because how could they know you could do that Vecna voice, before you got cast?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just, anyways.
Had to push it. He was like, what am I doing? I saw it. It was like, what am I doing here? What's my motivation? That means this guy's basically creating the character because they don't.
How much did I know? I was figuring it out and asking questions as we were going along and drawing lines between things that I, knew were like aha moments and things that I was doing, and then making sure that that I was on the right track, with being able to ask Matt and Ross, like, am I right in thinking this? And they're like, yeah, sure.
It's all very realistic.
They don't have a clear character. And he's like, what is my motivation?
Again, obviously from the way I'm pulling it, if they would have leaned into the fact that he looks like a prevert, he looks like he belongs in a wood chipper.
You still thinking about your parents?
That's what it seemed like they were going for. Like they were going for a guy.
Mr. What's-It?
Yeah, Mr. What's-It. That whole Mr. What's-It character was just a guy who needs being a wood chipper.
Yes. And so the way the actor, I can't names, but the actor, the blonde actor that was playing him, the English fella, he was serious. He was trying. He was doing his best. The Duffers were just like, oh man, whatever you think.
Or we're going to put you in this suit and you'll be...
That last scene is what we've always envisioned.
Yeah. You have smoked yourself retarded.
How many movies has 11 been in now? The girl who plays 11, like dozens of movies. Okay. Yeah, she's really been busy.
Why is she getting face work done at 18? You can see it. Girl. I know I'm stubborn and I'm never getting face work done out of principle. There will never be any botulism in this, okay? Everything's just it's gonna get soft and it'll sag as it sags, all right? I don't believe in plastic surgery. But Lord have mercy, girl, you are 18 years old. You don't need to have no work done. What are you...
Even up 20, I've seen like with 20 something, barely 30. It's like, come on now.
So on top of all of that, you've got Maury trafficking kids in the back of his van.
There was a little of that, yeah.
They literally had a foam-covered panel van.
Yep.
Sneaking the kids through to the Russians in season 3.
Who do you work for?
Oh on, no, serious. No. Hopper might have gotten kidnapped by the Russian cartel because they were competing for child trafficking and had to escape. And
tell me, who you work with?
I told you, no one.
You know, if you, again, you take it all back to where Linda Hamilton's just child trafficker.
I was still alive. I thought maybe this doctor was hired to torture me. Or this was not about revenge. Dr. K needed me.
So yeah, no, I mean, in the proper military, hell no. In the cartels, oh yeah. There's violent brats, sure. This is gross. The show's gross. I don't like bringing in this new generation of children when I've already seen you not teach the former generation of children lessons. Dustin's still a foul-mouthed, selfish little shit. I don't believe he's valedictorian. That, to me, is the most unbelievable part of his character, is the idea that Dustin, who lies to his mom, who lies to his friends, who puts snakes in people's lockers and wears t-shirts to purposefully get his ass whipped, is also valedictorian. None of those boys I would have believed is valedictorian, frankly. Okay? And they'd all been up to some shit. So you can't have been up to all this shit and still be top-notch at schoolwork. It doesn't make sense.
I guess they were trying to say that his grades were,
The thing is, I don't believe that Dustin, the kid Dustin, got that good of grades, even if he's a savant with science stuff. I don't believe he's good at English. I don't believe he's good at history. You know what I mean? I don't believe that he's good enough at the rest of the subjects to be a valedictorian, because you only ever showed me him being a little science nerd, which is fine, because I'm doing a science fiction show. That's all I care about. All I care about is the fact that they won the science first in the science fair every year but last year.
Yeah. Them believe that's believable. Okay. Science nerd, get it. You're going to tell me you're going to keep up all your studies like top notch when all this bullshit's going on.
I don't believe you.
Monsters coming from underground attacking you. And
in your morning, Eddie, if anything, it would make more sense for he almost dropped out of school. They just don't think about their characters. They don't think about the actual real life logistics of what they're putting these kids through, of what these kids are. We talked about with Steve and Dustin. Steve's very charming. Dustin was a cute kid, and he had that self-confidence, but he could have grown to be charming like Steve. That would have been a good course for him. And to not lie. He never learned about not lying. Dustin was always a little liar. Even though the group thing was friends don't lie. He lied about his little D'Artagnan. He lied to his mom about D'Artagnan eating his cat. Putting snakes in people's locker. I beat your ass too, Dustin. Dustin, I'm not generally cool with 4-on-1, but you put a snake in somebody's locker.
Ass beaten.
Ass beaten.
Snake didn't do nothing wrong, man.
Didn't do nothing wrong. You didn't need to be in a locker. Especially once I rewatched and saw the snake scene, it was like any bad I felt for Dustin was gone once I realized he put a snake in that kid's locker.
There's a snake in my boots.
I don't believe he's valedictorian.
No. Ridiculous. But I mean, that's not what's important in life even. So why would they, it's like ridiculous.
They may have wanted, see, this is what makes me think, it's like, we had it planned out in season 1. It's like, yeah, in season 1, you might have planned for Dustin to be valedictorian. By the time you got to season 5, Dustin wasn't the kind of kid who could have been valedictorian. It might have been nice that that's where you wanted the story to go. That's not where the story went. That's not the story you wrote.
They should have him where he got hard and he was like with a flamethrower, like that would have been a more accurate representation of what would have probably happened.
He never grew. He never grew from that little season 2 liar. I don't like it. I don't like. And I loved the little actor kid. The little actor kid was great.
Yeah, oh yeah. So, I have nothing against any of the actors.
No. That kiddo would have done whatever you wrote for him. And he has the acting chops to pull it off. He's a charming little shitwilly.
Especially after they decided to kill off his friend. His new friend there.
Eddie.
So instead of making him get hard, they just made him...
And it's super sad for Eddie. And then he ends up holding back, because again, he's not fast. He's got he's got the dysplasia. He can't run super fast. If he ends up holding back with, like you said, with a flamethrower to hold off so everyone else can escape at some point.
Oh yeah, there was total vengeance that he should have, Vengeance arc.
It's like tells Mike and Lucas to take care of his mom.
Coming of age arc. No coming of age.
Nothing that these kids went through seemed to last.
No. They regressed every season, it seemed like. It was they took one step forward, 2 steps back.
Season 1, Mike was so smart. Season 1, Mike was a smart, clever kid. He figured a lot of stuff out. He was the leader. Season 2, Mike was still pretty good. He was a little bit of a shit with his sister. He was stealing money. He had the issue with 11. He missed 11.
He started to become so worried about his relationship stuff.
Well, that's when she disappeared. Yeah. And he didn't know if she was dead or alive or anything. So I can see where that's very traumatic. You were chased by monsters. You fell in love with a girl. And then she disappeared into a porthole saving you. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Bless his little heart. He's going through it.
With some psychic-powered girl like appears out of nowhere. Okay, all right, I get it.
Give him those little first heartbreak. Okay, season 2, he's a shitheel. Season 3, they made him a punk. Sorry, let me take it back. The way he behaved after he got his girlfriend back.
Uh-oh. I think we're in trouble.
And with Hopper, was punk. Was a punk. He was not mature. He was not. And after somebody who had been through those 2 seasons, he'd be kind of dead-eyed a little bit. He'd be so much harder than any other 14-year-old. They're down in the demi-dog pits. Nearly died. Saw his best friend nearly die. Nearly lost him again. Yep. Got out of the hospital. Saw Bob die.
They had to bring in her girlfriend arc, and they had to have them go into the mall and da-da-da-da-da. So they had to create the, guy versus girl. And
so we went from being one of the best characters, season 1 and 2, first he's a clever sweetheart leader. Then he's a hurt, little wounded lamb. Okay, but I'm still okay. Season 2, little wounded Mike. Little mad Mikey. And then season 4 and 5, Elle's girlfriend.
They basically just emasculated the shit out of him. Like, yeah, you don't get a gun. Boy, they hand him a flare gun, right? Wasn't he the one they handed a flare gun?
Yes.
Yeah. You don't get a real gun. Good luck with that, buddy.
Season 1 Mike was great. God, going back and watching season 1 Mike and then looking at season 4 scenes, it's like, and it's not a kid, but if Mike's their stand-in for the Duffer Brothers, if that's who they always saw themselves as, I guess maybe they never grew up.
I don't know.
They never, because they didn't let Mike become a hero. Mike was a bad joke. Bless his little heart.
They had the cast. It was just they didn't have the writing or the direction.
They don't love Western culture. They don't love a hero.
Know their audience.
This is Lord of the Rings. You could have Lord of the Rings this shit in some way.
That's all they had to do. They didn't do that.
You could have done any version of any aspect of Lord of the Rings with these boys, and it would have slapped.
I mean, you've got probably the best character from the Lord of the Rings just about. So, I mean, come on now.
Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Can you imagine the hobbits going through the whole Lord of the Rings journey with no character development? Can you imagine them boys coming back and having Saruman have taken over Hobbitville and them not regulating his ass immediately? Because when they got back, well, they had grown too, because they'd been drinking that Ent liquid or what have you. So they were like the biggest hobbits there was. But they'd still went into battle how many times? And you think you're going to come to my town and start running roughshod over my people? Oh, hell no. And Pippin and Merry did what they did.
Kicked ass, took names, and killed goblins.
Didn't matter that they started out as Hobbit jokes. They ended up as Hobbit warriors.
Ended up being a full-on adventure.
Well, they ended up, what I'm saying is the hobbits they came out, the people they came out on as the other side, were deeply changed.
What does he mean? We set out to save the Shire, Sam. And it has been saved. But not for me. You don't mean that.
You can't leave.
And you can't say that with these boys. When they're sitting around doing that silly D&D campaign, if this show had been written with any level of respect for the characters that they'd actually developed and the things they'd went through, it would have been a bunch of dudes sitting around an Alcoholics Anonymous drinking coffee, shot out. What do you think? Do you think that Stranger Things and Hawkins was just one big analogy for Jeff's Island and all that sort of wood chipper worthy nonsense?
Let us know down below.
Down in the comments. And regardless, we really do appreciate you being here.
America, built to last. That's right. No, that's right. They be flying that flag all night. Red, white, and blue.
Thank you for joining us here today. Oh, we really do appreciate your time. I'm Lorelei, and this is
Space Deviant.
And together we are Southern Fried Cinema Siblings. And remember, the most important story is the story you tell yourself, so
make it a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. You're still here, are you? Well, why don't you make yourself useful? Click the share button. Click the subscribe button. May as well go ahead and click for the next episode, too.